It was windy on the 11th of March 2004. Araceli Cambronero can remember that quite clearly. She had just taken her children to school and was on her way to work, like thousands of other commuters in Madrid that morning.
The
train was packed. It was very uncomfortable. The journey to Atocha main station seemed a lot longer than 7 minutes. When we arrived and people were getting on and off the train, I remained right by the door. I heard the signal that the train was about to depart. And at that moment, the first bomb exploded. We all hit the floor. Smoke filled the carriage. When I managed to get out, I saw the next carriage had been completely destroyed.
There were 10 bombs in total. 191 people were killed, and almost 2,000 passengers in Madrid's main station were wounded. It was the bloodiest Islamist terror attack in Europe so far. Araceli Cambronero is still affected by her experiences. She lost 20 kilos, underwent several courses of therapy, and had to fight in the courts for compensation.
Of course, I'm still afraid, especially when I listen to the news from Paris and I know Spain is also threatened. Terrorism is more testing than an accident, for example, which won't happen again in the same form. The danger of terrorism still exists in Europe.
Santa Eugenia is a district on the outskirts of Madrid. It's an area that's home to many immigrants and to people with low incomes. Many of the people travelling that day came from suburbs like this. The Survivors Association, 11th of March, is still fighting on their behalf today. Araceli Cambronero used to be a graphic designer. Now she's unemployed. The economic crisis has affected the terror victims far more than the average Spaniard, according to Ángel de Marcos, the group's chairman and himself a survivor of the attacks. But Spain's politicians have already shelved the matter, he says. The attack was turned into a party political issue back then, causing deep divisions in society. Hardly anyone is interested in the subject these days.
Many
of the victims are in desperate need. Some don't have enough to eat. Others don't know how they'll pay for a new prosthesis or expert psychological help. There's very little state support, to say the least. Back then, the judiciary awarded them a one-off compensation payment, and that was it.
The Islamist terror attack was worse than anything that the Spanish had experienced during the decade-long reign of terror by the Basque organization ETA. Nevertheless, psychologist Maria Jesus Alvarez believes that Spain has, on the whole, repressed memories of this national tragedy.
It's a topic that triggers a lot of sympathy at first, a feeling of being in it together, especially in Madrid. But today, it's as if people have erased their memories. It's no longer part of the collective consciousness.
The Spanish have other worries. The fear of terrorism is no longer centre stage. But Araceli Cambronero can't get the day out of her mind. Her marriage recently broke down. Another result of her trauma, she says.
People want to forget, and they think that you have to forget it, and you should forget it, because they didn't experience it themselves. You notice that this feeling of solidarity is slowly dissolving. That's only human.
Inscribed on the monument for the victims and survivors in Madrid's main station are the good wishes, thoughts and condolences of the Spanish people. One place at least that is dedicated to remembering the past.